Hello and welcome to Suzuka, Japan. Today we are back in the wet again, but not actually currently raining. It looks like the rain is actually done for today too. So today we have a 5.8 kilometer track that's 3.6 miles, 18 tough turns, can have lots of elevation change. That paired with the wet here today is going to give these drivers pretty big handful. Um, jump on board with got Gabriel. Jump on board with him as he's going to put down his qualifying laps. Looks like this will be his first one as he's just now coming out of the pits. Let's actually hop on board with him too. We'll give you guys a really good look at what's to come this race as you see the track still pretty damp here. Saw that right front camera angle. That's really neat seeing the spray off of these tires early. Here being super gentle with the throttle. Look at the banked left turn that he has to come through. I believe we're coming up the turn 7 spoon curve coming up. One of the most treacherous turns at this track. Shoot, you're going to hear me say that a lot today. These turns they all are quite treacherous, especially in the wet. As see Gabriel went a bit wide. Let's jump on board with Door. Door looks really fast in practice. Well, commentator's curse maybe a little bit. You see these rain tires on these Super Formula Light cars. Wow, Door's having a bit trouble. Looks like he's going to reset his car back to the pits, try and get another lap going here. Meany, driver the 77, our winner of Heat 1 last week in our Silver Series. Let's see. No, Heat 2, I'm sorry. Dina was our winner of Heat 1 Silver Series. But Mini was right there, could have been right there up with him. Definitely had the pace as he's shown in that second heat. Speaking of second heat, got two for you today. 2 separate series and then 2 separate heats. Gonna have that top 10 inverted for you. Take a look at that 19 Celsius. Oh, that's pretty cool. Not a lot of temperature to get pressures up in their tires. You see 100-degree humidity point, but yeah, as I mentioned earlier, rain is done for today. So keep that in mind as these drivers will have to deal with changing track conditions. Each and every lap run just different lines than they did before. As I wonder if we're going to see some drivers maybe try and gamble and maybe start on slick tires. That would be really interesting. Let's get back on board with some of our racers here. Looks like Asaf's still on track, 482. Asaf ran top 3 last week in both heats, Silver Series. Still no lap time set yet. None showing up on the scoring pylon. But I would expect these drivers with these higher I ratings to qualify towards the front, especially in the wet. That just adds another aspect. But I mean, these I ratings are. Oh, Asaf, no! Dang it, dude. That was your quick lap too. So Asaf going to be starting towards the rear of the pack. Only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 drivers here racing at Suzuka today. Asaf's going to try and get another lap in. Pretty much just crawling around the circuit. See the moisture kicked up by these rain tires, and there's a lap time put down. Gabriel with a 2:11. I was watching him in practice. Looks like he had started to figure out the corners where he was maybe pushing a bit too hard in, as we see him start to work on his second lap now. Rounding Suzuka. I know I mention this just about every week, but this is a lot more fun to watch than it is, I think, to race in the rain, especially, let alone a Super Formula Light. You're looking at only 280 horsepower. That's 2 liters naturally with a naturally aspirated engine, but with only 650 kilograms, and that's the whole car. Or I'm sorry, yeah, just about 1,500 pounds. It's gonna be a handful. You know, the track will start to dry out, and then especially that second heat, I really wonder if drivers will take advantage of possibly starting on slicks. But I don't want to say anything that will possibly catch some drivers off guard if they're listening to the broadcast now. Don't listen to me, as I don't run these cars too terribly much. Do love to watch them though. F1 race coming up. Can't wait for that, as we now see Aviad with a just 2.5 seconds almost back behind Gabriel's time. So these drivers really just trying to crawl around Suzuka just to put down a lap. As we've seen in the past, the starts of these IiL, aka esports races are the most important things. You get 2, 3, even 4 wide, we've seen back in the past, and just along for the ride. So hopefully a bit cleaner start for us today. I know in the wet that's kind of asking for a bit. You can see the brake lights too, as Dima flashed by our camera here. You see them, but once they get in the mist, it's still pretty hard to kind of pick up, especially when you're right there behind him in a different car. But yeah, hopefully we have a cleaner start. Gabriel goes back to the top after Aviad and Tomer have completed some laps. Door there. Dima to the top of the chart, 2:05.9. Looks like he's gonna stay in the gas here, just maybe get just a few more laps of practice, as we are about to round out qualifying. Just 15 seconds to go, drivers. Checkered flag's out. That'll do it. Dima's on pole. Mini right there is going to start beside him, and then Gabriel will be behind him. Not all of our drivers completed a lap time, so that will be kind of something to watch. So we take a look at our starting grid. Mentioned that top 3, Emnon, that's 78. You got Aviad right there starting 5th in this 71. Believe he's a blue and white Super Formula Light. Super vibrant colors. Tomer there, the 94, starting 6th. You got Dorn, that 18, starting 7th. Tal Stern, starting 8th, and that's number 11, Super Formula Light. Eric Lapter, Eric Pashiov, and then Iran back here in the 11th. So these drivers looks like they're about ready to go. Take a look at our starting grid. Mini there, right there beside Dima, again, who started up there on pole. These engines are starting to come to life. Almost lights out here from Suzuka. Again, wet track. Looks like all these drivers are going to be starting on these treaded wet weather tires. Just a few more seconds before we get going here. Turn 1, they're going to come up to a sharp right-hander following that fast straight. Braking zone is going to be super crucial here to really signify a good start, put down some good lap times. Just waiting for maybe one more driver to grid up. Turns 2 and 3 through the chicane. Quick left, right. It's going to be super easy to get a bit sideways as now you see the lights. And now they're off and away they go. Green flag is out. Is already a big incident in the back of the pack. That's one driver around. Looks like that's, Tomer early. There's that 3 wide I was mentioning a little bit earlier. Got Mini already back to the lead up here. Looks like that was our only incident at the start of the race. It was just right at the start. Aviad back here, the 71. And then Dora right there behind him, that bumblebee-looking Super Formula Light. Asaf making some moves early. Already up 6 spots. Gonna run just to the left of Gabriel. Gonna actually make that move on him. What a move by Asaf early in the race. Oh! Got a bit deep on the brakes as we still have Mini up here in the lead. Dima has dropped down to 3rd place after starting on the pole. And look at Asaf. Oh, I thought he was about to charge up the... I believe this is turn 11. Here in Suzuka. Still really wet. Take a look at the start of the race. See what happened to Tomer here. Oof, just no traction. Looks like he's on those white-walled tires. I believe that is the rain tires. So we'll jump back. Actually, we'll stay here. I want to stay with Asaf. Check out this start, guys. Check out how many spots he was able to gain really early. See, almost down the inside of the 7. Almost clip his front wing as now he's going to make the move on Dima. Oh, he's patient with it too, not too aggressive at all. Nice start, Asaf, as he's now running 2nd place. So now we're back live. You see Dima right there beside Asaf. Get a little weaving on, maybe trying to get some pressure temperature up into his. I think these are Pirelli tires, Super Formula Light. You see our sponsor there up in the top right, ILAKA Esports. Esports and karting, that is. Appreciate them for coming out this whole season with Tal's IiL, Super Formula Light Racing League. Is this battle for the league is... Oh, Asaf. Oh, I wonder if there was contact there. Mini going to go off track, way back in the pack now. Oh man, we'll take another look at that. Asaf's gonna, oh, what a move. Let's take a look. Brought to you by Stam Studio Network. Here's Asaf. Already made the move on Dima there behind him. Believe Mini is this next car in front. Let's take a look. If that's may have been actually after it already had happened, because yeah, Mini's back here in the pack. Mini went off track. Let's have a look at that replay. Oh, he spun from the lead. That was lucky of the bright baby blue and orange to miss him, and then you saw Asaf run right by. I believe that's Tal, the 11. That's in that bright. Not sure who that was, but definitely a lap down car. As now we'll jump back live. Battle for the lead is kind of diminished a bit now as Asaf's pulled it to now 2 seconds. And then you see Dima with about an 8-second gap in front of Amnon. Ooh, Gabriel just took that spot. We've had quite a bit of incidents. Let's walk through every single one of them. Eric Pashiov is the first incident we'll walk through. Looks like running by himself, so not anybody else's fault but his, as he's going to run deep. Car's going to loop out from underneath of him. No traction there. Then we have Tomir again after his rough start. Ooh. Well, it's already hard enough to drive a Super Formula Light. No front wing you are asking for. Oh, little pace car from the NASCAR Championship race action, as we've seen Tomir into the tire barrels into the pit entry. That's not going to help at all. And then here another incident for Eric. Looks like turn one, treacherous turn one. Gonna, I mean, maybe a centimeter of that left rear tire onto the rumble strips, and he's gonna spin. Let's take a look at Dima. He's had an incident. He's still running second place now, but let's take a look what happens here. Oh, gonna lock up his right fronts hard into the back of Asaf. No real damage for you, Dima. You're gonna keep it going. As y'all are as you guys, excuse me, can't really use southern dialect here. As you guys are still going to be up for first and second, and then that gap back to third still about 14 seconds back from Dima. It's Gabriel. So we're on board with now. What an eventful start, even for only 12 drivers so far. We'll walk you down. You have Iran here in fourth place, was showing quite a bit of pace in practice. I mentioned pace. Asaf puts down a 2:04.7. That's really impressive, as we saw 2:11s put down in practice and even qualifying. Dima, that 2:10. Take a look at Aviad back here, the 71 respectively, fifth place. Only 22 seconds back, and in the rain, that's, I mean, that's not bad at all. Look at this, guys. This front straightaway is actually starting to dry off a bit. Take a look at see if there's a dry line maybe forming. Not quite yet. Still see some moisture on these curbs. Door up one spot since the start of this first 20-minute heat race. See him sponsored by the Door Shearer Insurance Company. Appreciate him putting his information and driver profile picture, uploading that to our SDK driver information software. If you have any troubles with that, they have a website, or just shoot me a PM on Discord. I'm more than happy to help you out. Get your profile picture set up so this race, so it's we have just a bit more personality in our broadcast. See him in that looks to be some sort of baby blue and white car that he's in his profile picture. So again, get with me if you can't seem to figure that out, but just once you download it, you have to get into the car in the sim, and then once you are actually sitting in the car, then you're able to bring up the software and upload your driver information as well as profile picture, whatever you may want. So again, appreciate Door for doing that. Continue to go down our list here. Got Amnon, that 78. That was the baby blue and bright orange car I was mentioning earlier. We'll hop on board with him for just a bit, see if this track is... It's definitely drying out. No moisture, no precipitation, I should say. So I start to get into my meteorologist side just a little bit, which is all I have. See Amnon come down I think this front straight in Suzuka. It is not the front straight, so I'm going to switch off before we get to let's chatter in the YouTube comments or live chat. Just kidding, but I appreciate you guys coming out, joining this live stream from Suzuka. This has been really fun to watch Asaf kind of drive up through the field as he started 10th place. Already first is now we're seeing Eric in his baby blue. I was correct about that 81. You can't ever miss him in this super vibrant car. I mentioned drying out just a bit, but as we're on an external cam, not sure it's gonna be quite dried enough a bit for slicks in our second heat. Take a look at Eric back here as thought he was a little bit off the pace. See if he went off track at all. No, but Minnie did. Take a look, see what happens to him. Turn one. I'm willing to bet that left rear tire gets on this rumble strip. Let's take a look. That's all it takes, guys. I mean, the moisture, the precipitation that's already come down but is now just stuck on the track. That's it's such a fine line. Is Eric, believe we just hopped on board with him as we saw him a little bit off the pace. We'll take a look, see what happened, why he was off the pace. Ooh, big lockup. Gonna go off track here. No harm, no real foul. Yeah, that's about when we jumped on board with him. And then E-Ran. What happens here? Gosh, really pushing his car. And then on exit, it's going to snap. Going to hit reverse really quick. Not reverse onto the racing line. That's, we have seriously really applaud that, excuse me. It sucks that happened, but way to get your car righted the right way fairly quickly. Let's take a look. We have a pass door. Looks like made a pass on E-Ran. Oh, that's just when when E-Ran went for that spin. Jump back on board live with Eric. It's 13. Look at these gaps. I mean, besides really Gabriel, Aviad, and then you see Eric here with Tomir right there behind him. That's really our closest battles on track. Oh, Eric, as we're on board live, gonna go hard into the tire barriers. Loses his rear wing. Another hard impact. Wonder if he's just gonna tow it. Oh, hopefully his wrists are okay. That was a hard impact. Oh, then right when this happened, it's like a door. His Bumblebee Super Formula Light. Gosh, these drivers are getting super aggressive, and it's costing them. Well, I say super aggressive. We'll jump on board with Asaph just for a little bit and see how aggressive he's taking these turns. I wouldn't expect it all. Got a 20-second gap in front of Dima. Wow. That's 1.2 KI rating going to work, but Dima, they're behind him, 1.3 KIR, so. Let's take a look at this Aviad and E-Ran battle. They seem to be going at it. Nice shot from the stands as they come down the front stretch. Gonna head into turn one. That first hairpin. Check this out. This is gonna be quite treacherous, especially for E-Ran. Right there behind Aviad in that mist. Let's jump on board with E-Ran. Let you guys a look at just what he's getting a look at. It's not like that rain that we had at Mount Fuji that was just, I don't know how these drivers could even see in front of them, but yeah, okay. You see he ran really smooth with his steering inputs. Sounds like he's being smooth with the throttle. Take a look into this listen into this hard braking zone coming up. Ooh, runs a little bit wide. Able to stay right there with Aviad in front of him. Moisture still coming off the track here in Suzuka. try and get a look at our track precipitation meter at the end of this first heat for you guys if we can. But look at Iran, not shoving the issue too terribly much, but just staying right there with Aviad. Surprised our helicopter was able to get flight clearance for this. Is yeah. Oh, you can't see it at all. Oh man. So still, that could be the humidity going, or just you see that's still fairly cloudy. As Aviad looks like Iran passed him when we went up to that. Not even sure what you'd call that. Can take another look. See what happened as we were up on our chopper cam. Okay, just... I'm not sure if Aviad maybe lifted a bit there to give Iran the point by. I mean, Iran's definitely a little bit faster on pace at this moment. But good looks there. That's going to move Iran to 5th. Excuse me, Iran to 4th, Aviad to 5th. Then, as we get just to the 16th minute in our race, I mean, look at Asaf. Gap is now steadied to about 20 seconds, but you see that lap down car of Mini there, right there behind him. And Tal Stern going to be out this race, but no, I still think we only have that top 10 inversion, not complete field inversion. So should see Tal and Eric starting the back of the pack this next heat. Battle for 3rd, 4th, 5th, just a little. I mean, it's there just a little bit, within a second or two of each other for 3rd and 4th, and then you see Door here just a few seconds back from them. Something that I learned today from somebody who races within the league is that a lot of these guys are actually pretty, well, I'll get right back to that, as we've had Gabriel go off track. Spins maybe pushing a little bit too hard. He is gonna go around, lose one spot to Door, or Aviad and Door actually, or Iran and Aviad. Excuse me. These car numbers are throwing me for a loop today, as we just saw Gabriel get thrown for one. But as I was mentioning, a lot of these drivers, or maybe if even all of them, are actually really good friends in real life as well. So it's really cool to see you all racing for, I mean, pretty much your country, and then you all get to hang out on the outside of the sim as well. That's some pretty special stuff. So we see iRacing connect people from all over the world, and then people from, well, within their own communities as well. So Asaf's gonna keep it out front. Almost, I mentioned that 20-second gap, now 30. Just about a minute and a half to go left in the race. Oh, lots of action back here. Amnon's gonna go off. Already gone for a spin. And then Dima looks like he's going to go off track. We'll take a look, see what happens to him. Oh, didn't even touch anything that time. I wonder if he maybe too much steering input to it. Let's actually, we'll take another look at Dima's accident. Or just spin. Yeah, you saw how much his steering wheel aggressively turned to the right. That'll result in a spin any day of the week. Back with Asaf, that 44-second gap for Dima now. Really slow. But 15 seconds back to Iran behind him. Haven't seen this before, guys. Again, last week we had Dima, Iran, and Asaf. That was our top 3 in our first heat, and I mean, you see the same three names, Asaf, Dima, and Iran up there. And then Heat 2, we had Mini, Iran, and then Asaf. That was our top three finishing. So wonder if we could possibly happen see some Mini up there in front, as he will start at this rate second spot. Oh boy, I love this inversion. Tal, if you're watching, listening, I love the way that you've set up this league and the racing perimeters that these drivers have to follow. Even the weather today is it's presented some really fun racing to watch, and I bet for Asaf driving up from way back the back of the pack, I bet that's been fun for him as well. Oh, door hard impact. Holy smokes. We caught that a little bit late. Door's going to go off track as Asaf's going to take our checkered flag. We'll get a look at the Dima accident a little bit further back here. Asaf, congratulations, buddy. That's going to be Heat 1 in the books. Suzuka, Asaf, P1. Dima's going to finish P2. Iran, if he keeps it, P3. Actually, I don't want to speak too soon because let's take a quick replay. Take a glimpse, see what happened to Dima back here. This was just a few turns ago. You see how quickly he downshifts it. Really went all the way to reverse. Gonna try to get his car righted and get second, as we are going to see Dima going to finish P2. Here he comes now. That was close. Iran could have had some more points there, but Dima is going to secure second spot. Should see him pull off right away, which he does. Take a look at Iran back here, P3. I say back here, but out of 12 drivers, congratulations, Iran. That'll get you some good points. Aviad, right there behind Iran, the 71, going to finish fourth. Gabriel loses 2 spots from the start, but not an overall terribly bad race. Going to finish P5. Then right behind Gabriel, Emnon, the 78. That was that, again, bright blue and orange. Very vibrant Super Formula Light. Door's going to take P7 if he can get it to the checkered flag. He is struggling. Oh, my days. Oh, hopefully he's all right. His right rear tire isn't even making contact with the ground. Ugh. See, that moisture still coming off the back of his car as well. This track is not ready for slicks. See, Door going to round it, make P7. Tomir's going to already get the checkered flag. Looks like he lapped down, so that'll solidify his spot. Excuse me, not Tomir, but Mini that lap down. Then Eric, both our Erics. That's something that happens quite a bit. I see both of our Erics finishing back nose to tail. And then Tal Stern respectively finishing 12th. Guess while we finish this, wait for this to finish up, I'd like to take just a look at the start of the race. Or really, yeah, that first incident with Tomir we'll take a look at from his point of view. Yeah, no traction there. You see Door make it through. Get about 3 wide. That Asaf on that start was, he had somewhere to be. Now we're gonna grid up onto our next heat. Let's take a look at the grid. Eric Lapter, that 81 Mini, he's gonna be my one to watch. Starting right on that outside, gonna have the pace. Tomir, Door starting 4th. Amnon 78 starting 5th. Gabriel starting 6th. Aviad, that 71 starting 7th. Iran starting 8th. Dima going to be starting 9th, and then just one to watch. Well, another one to watch. Keep an eye on that 482 bright white, number 10. Right behind him, Eric Pashiov, and then Tal Stern, P12. As we get ready again for the lights to go out. Just waiting on Tal here to grid. Looks like Tal's not even going to grid as you see the lights come up on the screen. Wait for all reds, and then gonna go off now. Greens are up. A little bit. Oh, some still squirreliness a little bit further. The pack. Everybody's gonna end up making it through. No damage yet. Oh, as soon as I say that, Gabriel's gonna go around. Really clean start for Mini so far. You see the 81. Clean start for him as well. That was a quick turn for Gabriel. No tire temperature at all. His Super Formula Light. Keep you live on board with Eric just a little bit, then we'll take a look at that replay. Way cleaner start this time by Mini up here in front, 77. Door just 1.5 behind already. take a look at ASAF, guys, up to P3. And ooh, leader's gonna possibly get together. Door's gonna go around his Bumblebee machine. We will take a look at that replay first, and then take a look at the start. Ooh, so Mini went off. Door kind of overcorrected, had nowhere to go. Gonna slide almost onto the racing line. Holy smokes! Another horrible, awful start for Mini. You couldn't ask for something worse than that. Let's take a look at how he goes off. Jeez, pushes way too early, too soon. Possibly, again, too much steering angle. Oh, Door goes by at Mach 2. Mini is going to get it righted, no damage. And then let's take a look at, again, the start of this race. This is just another, really another great possible outcome for ASAF. We'll take a look at the start. Matter of fact, ASAF's already up to the lead. Look at him go as he's just... And again, it's not overly aggressive at all. Wonder if he gets 71. Not quite yet, but you'll see up in the distance. Keep an eye on those front two cars as he's side by side now. Just a couple more turns until Believe, Door, and Mini have their incident. There's go. Yeah, Door, I mean, kind of, I say overreaction, but probably turned just a bit more to the right at the last second, and, I mean, that's not going to help anything. Yeah, ASAF, mentioned earlier, already out to the lead after starting again 10th place. Look at that 482 go, and already get to about 4-second gap. Mini's going to go off track back here again. This just now happened. Same turn. We've had Amnon go off track, Tomer go off track. Get your replays at just each and every one of them. So there's no grip for our drivers here today. Oh my days. Here's Tomer. Take a look. Ooh, hard. The car veered hard to the right. No traction with wet grass. Well, dry, let alone wet grass. Is 77 of Mini's going to go into the inside of Tomer, take that spot. Mini up now to P6 after his start off second place. Wow. Again, the starts of these races just determine everything. You see ASAF drive up to the lead from basically lap 1, both heats. Iran there already 5 seconds behind, and then Tomer 14 seconds back from the lead, or from Iran. Best battle on track's probably going to be here with Aviad. Aviad and Amnon right there behind. Hop on board with him here. Can't really see much with that mist. Maybe you look behind Aviad. Now we'll take a look at front. There's many in front of him. Again, I'm sorry if I'm torturing any of these names, which I know I am. I need to get those down a bit more, but I really do appreciate you guys coping with me. And so we see Asaf, Iran, Tomir, our top three. Door, still fourth. Believe he started fourth. Heard get to the rev limiter there a little bit for Aviad. No harm, no foul there. Oh, as soon as I mentioned his name. This is the, what, third commentator curse today? Holy smokes. Let's give you a look. Brought to you by Stam Studio Network. That specific turn I've seen claim more drivers than I think any other turn today. Saw Dord lock it down pretty early on and get his car righted the right way. Gabriel's going to go off track now. This one just now happened. Car really spun on its own. Didn't touch the paint or turf or grass at all to initiate that spin. Whoa! Was that Eric right there behind? It was. That was close. Gonna have Gabriel. Oh, Tal. Tal not in this race. Thought that was Tal for a second. Gonna come around past Aviad, or excuse me, Eric. So we jump back on board with our leader. Asaf, 7.5 second gap now. Mini up to third place, making some moves. Gabriel's going to take his Super Formula Light to the pits. Use his one fast repair he has for this race. Oh, man. Dima. Let's take a look. Treacherous turn one. That left rear tire barely touching that rumble strip. If any of you gold drivers are watching the live stream, super careful into turn one. Make sure you don't, as I'm one to talk, get that left rear. Just seems like you just barely contact it and you're going to go for a loop. Dima again off track. Now is go back live with Asaf. 10 seconds now. Almost halfway through the second heat. Ooh, gonna have maybe a big incident with Eric Lapter. Doesn't look like any cars next to him, so it doesn't look like he took anybody with him, but no, that's not the first time we've seen that happen today. Oh, just ran off track quite a few times and then serving it slow down there. I was wondering why it showed that he crashed 3 times but just went off track. Miniland. Oh boy. I just can't get away from these replays. He's going to loop it. That same corner where we've seen lots of different drivers loop it with no! Holy! Is that Aviad? Oh my days! Okay, we're gonna take another look at this. Didn't quite see who it was, but he's gonna reverse onto the racing line. That's gonna catch, what car number is that? 70. Holy smokes! I can't quite tell what car that was. Oh, Aviad. Let's rewind this here just real quick. I would like to get an on board of Aviad. My gosh. That was a very violent wreck, as Minnie really just wasn't looking at his relative or right onto the racing line. Ooh! Up and over for the 71. Looks like he's going to try and drive it away, but not sure how good that's going to work. Jeez. And as we've had all of this happen, Aviad looks like he is going to drive it back to the pits. Gabriel's going to go off track. Man, I had a buddy who said that races with IiL, and they said, get ready, have your replay button ready. And he was not kidding. There's that Gabriel incident. Amnon. Jeez. It's almost like the track has just gotten more... I know it hasn't rained anymore, but we've seen more spins this race than we have last one. My goodness. Asaph now, right as we jump on board, he's going to go for a little bit of a spin. That's going to cut down his, 14-second lead. I don't think he should get a slowdown from that. Is that really... It's a slowdown enough of its own. Already 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 drivers either down a lap or more. See Iran here back P2. Just keeping his car on track. Nobody near him. Staying it in for the points. Tomir, the 94. Door, his Bumblebee. He had to go take a fast repair, I thought, but no, he's only down 40 seconds, so either he has the pace to not go down a lap, or that's when his car got utterly destroyed, was that last heat, and the two races are just blending into one for me. Is now Amnon still in 5th. Believe he started 5th. 78. Just something to note, check out these gaps in this Silver Series respectively. I mean, just about each turn has its own driver in it. I guarantee when we get to this gold race, it'll be fun to watch, at least, if the gaps aren't this big as we've continued to see kind of happen in each IiL race. I know the grid is a little bit bigger too, which helps always. Yeah, Aviad here in 7th, his 71. Yeah, that was him that took flight. He got his fast repair and is now down to 7th place. Dima right there behind him after showing really good pace earlier today and really every single IiL race that we've had. Now down in 8th. He puts down a 2:06 there. Pretty quick lap time in the wet. Gabriel, he's gone off track again. I think that's 3rd time today, but, you know, I'm glad I'm not out there. Long story short, I would embarrass the heck out of myself. Eric Pashyov in the pits now. Maybe taking a quick repair or just getting damage repair if he's already taken a quick repair. And then Minnie, wow, that's going to hurt him in the points. He's 11th out of the race. So we take a look at our Coca-Cola Zero Sugar Ferris wheel. What a shot there as you see the track there behind. Should see some cars coming into view. Oh, there you have one. Looks like Asaph was possibly quite a bit, I say possibly, was definitely loose. Coming out of turn 8, nope, not 18. Each time I see those lines painted, the starting lines, I always think they're coming to the start-finish stretch, but obviously not the case. So let's take a look at his lap time history. See Asaph there on top. putting that 2:01.9. Holy smokes, fastest lap I've seen all of today. And then at 2:01.7 on lap 7. I see Iran's not too far off. You see his lap 6 time, that 2:05, only a tenth off. Let's hop on board with Asaph here. Maybe a lap. Really give a good look at what it takes to be fast in the wet around Suzuka. See no dry line forming yet. This is honestly kind of surprises me. I wonder if we will see that in the gold race with more cars on track, but I mean, we've had 9 or 10 just turning laps and still not seeing that form. Amnon's going to have a bit of an incident. Again, turn 1. That's been... I said, I think it was turn 7 earlier is the most treacherous, but turn 1 now, I take back what I said, has claimed the most cars. Just over 4 minutes to go. Or, excuse me, in this race. Asaph still pushing quite a bit. And then Iran, Tomer, Dor, Amnon going to round out your top 5. No gaps really near each other on track. That allows us to just walk down the standings now. Take a look at Iran. Again, that purple and white, that's starting to become very reminiscent, very noticeable. Oh! Got on the paint. Quite, looked like he saved it. That may have just been setting up the next corner. Tomer, P3 at the moment. Really nice run for him. Nice to see him up front. He's always got the pace, just seems kind of unlucky. Dor, nice job, man. He's up here in 4th. Don't want to speak too soon, but as long as he keeps it together, gonna finish 4th, earn some nice points his way. Amnon still 5th, gonna go really wide. Gonna get back on track. Let's see if this is a slowdown. That should, you'd think, warrant one going so far out of the track limits. See if he slows his pace. Oh yeah, he's out of the throttle there. Back in it now. Eric Lapter, P6. Good run for him. Keeping out of the really lap 1 troubles again. It's a little bit cleaner this time by. Is now coming down the actual. I take that back. Not the actual start-finish straight. Suzuka, I only have a few laps on myself, and that's, well, MX-5 GT3s. Never in a, well, maybe once in a F4, but long story short, learned my lesson. Open wheels are, I mean, a can of worms to be opened. If you aren't familiar with that analogy, it's, well, as soon as you start messing with them, you are going to be kind of finding yourself fighting for quite a while, as they're so hard to handle. So, I mean, I see why they call them light. Light cars, only 1.5 k-pounds. Lots of downforce with these Super Formula lights. As I set up our next Gold Series race, or the transition into. Gonna be interesting to see the track conditions there, if it's relatively the same with what we've had in our Silver race today, or again with more cars on track, if the track is going to dry out just a little bit and be possibly ready for that second heat slicks. So we've now hit the 20-minute timer. Asaph should be coming around to the checkered flag this time by. We see him around turn 18, 17, then 18 here. Checkered flag's gonna be out. That's gonna be a sweep for Asaph at Suzuka. Congratulations, Asaph, you've done it. Quite a gap too, over 30, at least 25 seconds each run. Iran's gonna come up P2 as long as he can get it. Oh yeah, that gap behind him, nothing to worry about there. Congratulations, Iran, P2 in the Silver Heat race number 2. Dorr made his way up to P3. Wow. Looks like he passed Homer for that spot. Only 740 I rating for Dorr, and he's shown way more pace than 700 is worth, respectively so. See him come take the checkered flag now, as that'll almost round us up. Saw the screen flash there for a second, thought that the whole session was just about to be finished up, but here you see Tomarin right behind him. That's Dima, man, a lap down, possibly 2 laps down. Hate to see that. Dima's going to finish 7th. Not gonna skip our 5th and 6th finishing spots though. Amnon and then Eric Lapter gonna finish 6th. So you see the official finishing order now on the top left of your screen. Congratulations to all of our Silver Series drivers. Be sure to tune in, or I would love for you to tune in to our next Gold Series races. That's just going to happen just a few minutes from now. So I'm going to get out of here while I still can. Get that race set up, ready to go. Be sure to join us. It'll be the same stream as well. Just hang tight for a few minutes and we'll be right back. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Gold Series IiL, IL aka Esports and Karting Super Formula Light Race. We're in Suzuka, Japan today. The track will be very lightly wet. If you are just now joining us, our silver race, the track was moderately wet, and we were in for a treat, to say the least. The track never dried out, as I thought it would. But with this track state being moderately wet, excuse me, I would imagine that we see some closer racings, less spin outs, and we'll take a look at our race info brought to you by Stam Studio Network and IL aka Esports and Karting. Gonna have 19 degrees Celsius again for this gold 2 heat races. Top 10 will be inverted, and yeah, cloudy, 13-kilometer-an-hour winds, so that's going to help dry out the track even quicker. So we're going to have a full grid today of 22 drivers, I believe. I'll double check that just one second. So this will be fun. Strategy will come into play, if not this first race, definitely the second heat, as these drivers have different tires available to them. So let's hop on board with maybe some of our qualifiers now as they're starting to put down some laps. On board with Ndav, driver that red 22. Look at the water and mist kicked up in that right mirror. Track still a bit more moist than I was anticipating. Looks like he does have treaded wet weather tires on his Super Formula Light. I'm just bringing you these onboard shots in qualifying to show just how treacherous that the drivers are really about to start the race, or the conditions are so treacherous that well, okay, you saw a little bit aggressive on that wheel, and he was able to make it stick. If you tried that in that silver split with as wet as the track was, I'm not sure that really would have worked. Look at how much wheel he's able to put into that. That's already seeing some differences from our silver and gold series. Yossi just put down a 202. Nice lap. Very lime green driver suit and vehicle. Lime green and black. That's not going to be hard to miss. That will be very easy to spot. See the reflection of the water there on the rumble strips. Ooh. Heard the tires squealing for their lives there. Mark here, and that's, oh, there's the very familiar Red Bull. 030 putting his qualifying laps down up to second. The 203. Ido, the 50. Oh, they're very similar spot on track. Is Nadav's going to go 201.2 to the top of the charts. IiL right there behind him, that 201.8. Really fast lap times being put in now, as we are over halfway through qualifying. Birdie, ooh! Oh, slight contact with the tire barriers. Looks like he did already get a lap in, so that was going to be for his faster lap. Omri here at 997. It's baby blue and pink Super Formula Light. Michael Sherling. We saw Michael do really well our last race at, that was Silverstone, or I'm sorry, Misano. Michael S. He won our first heat, so keep an eye on him. Arnon got second, and then Yossi got third, as Michael will finish his lap P7. So, just a minute to go now is let's bring up the race info one more time. If you're just now joining us, give you a look at what these drivers are going to deal with today. 2 heat races, 20 minutes each. The top 10 will be inverted after that heat. So you end up finishing this race 10th, maybe with a bit of damage. Don't count yourself out at all, as you'll be on pole that second heat. Still 13-kilometer-an-hour winds. No change there. 14 degrees Celsius track temps. So, a little cold. These Gold drivers know what they're dealing with, though. Know about brake pressure, tire temperature, tire pressure itself. It's going to be quite an interesting start. The drivers should start gritting up just any moment now. Look at Suzuka. You got 18 different turns here. That's 5.8 kilometers within those 18 different turns. Some pretty tough ones, as we've seen again in our silver race. That you get turn 1, which is a hairpin, and then turns 2 through 3, the S's, tight left-right chicane. It's really easy. We saw quite a few cars get a bit sideways, but I think more cars sideways in turn 1. Turn 7, that spoon curve, that double apex right-hander, going to be one of the most, if not the most, technical section of the track today. As we see these drivers now starting to make their way to the grid. Turn 10, 130R, that high-speed, long right-hander that challenges the car's downforce. And if you don't have a front wing after this front lap, better be careful through there, as that car won't stick like it would with the downforce. Turn 11, Casino Triangle, that tight right-left chicane. Super easy to miss the apex. We saw that quite a bit in our Silver Series. Let's go ahead and jump to the grid. See these drivers, just a few more to go. Got, there's our starting grid. Brought to you by Stam Studio Network. Alan Day, put it on pole. That 159. I'm just so expecting to see 1.2 blank. 1.592. Super fast lap. Welcome back into the series, Alan. We missed you these last few weeks. Glad to have you back. Nadav, Ran, and Yossi IiL rounding out your top 5. Let's get ready to go here, folks, from Suzuka. See the lights pop up on the top of your screen there? And it's lights out. And away we go, already 4 wide, 5 wide at the back of the pack. Look at Alon already out to the lead here. Gonna stick within turn 1. Way cleaner start than our Silver Series. Look at these racers go. Ran already making a move on Nadav. Alon Day is gonna keep it out front early going since Suzuka. Gonna come up to the spoon curves here shortly. Look at the mist. Look at how wet the track still is. On board with Arnon Levi, the 39. Oh, car goes around in front of Arnon. Nowhere to go. Hard impact. Believe that was into Nadav. Nadav got loose. Gonna be hard impact for Arnon. Gonna have to use his fast repair. Huge impact, as that was a really nowhere to go for Arnon. Take a look how it happened to Nadav. Ooh, massive save there. And then in the right-hander just loops it, and then as we were on board with Arnon, heavy damage. Look at Omri. Omri making a really nice move, going to keep his car safe through this whole incident. And 997. Ooh, bit of contact with a 13. The Tomir, another Tomir. More cars have gone off track. What a start to this race. Dror last. What happened to him? Oh my. So we were just on board with Omri there, and then some slight contact to the front of Drawer's nose. Gonna have Arnon Levi again. A bit of an incident. Oh, this is just him trying to get it back to the pits. As a little bit of scuffle goes on in front of Arnon. We'll get you back out to our closest gap on track right now. Gonna be, looks like for battle between 5th and 6th. Hey, Yasi, Yehuda, and Ido here. Throw a blanket over all 3 of them. Looks like our chopper did get ground clearance. Don't know how they did in our silver race, is that you couldn't even see when we cut to this cam. But take a look at that line. There is a drier line starting to form itself. And these drivers, again, do have access to dry tires. This second heat, I believe that we will see some drivers put those on. So Alon Day still out up front, now up to 1.6 second gap on Ran there behind him. Appreciate Alon uploading his driver profile picture to our SDK information app. If you have any troubles with that, be sure to send me a PM and I'm more than happy to help you out. So we take a look at that gap on Alon and Ran. Ran when he should have won both of our heats 2 weeks ago at Masano, but got a little bit unlucky that first heat. Did end up winning our second heat. IiL and Nadav finished second, third place right there behind him, and you see IiL is in third right now. That really bright red and white 79. 16 drivers our count today. You can see on the left side of your screen. As putting down 2 flats. Track continues to dry out just a little bit more. These drivers to push themselves a bit more than they were just the previous lap. Wonder if it gets to the point at the end of this race, at least this heat, where drivers are searching for moisture to keep the grip into these wet weather tires. Is the second you start running dry in these wet weather tires, they will fade and fade fast. How about Yehuda up here a spot since the start of the race in that number 10. Super cool, spec mapped even. Bright white and blue Super Formula light. Omri's gonna go off track here. The end of the long straight. Oh, goes to the left, gonna do almost a 360, holds the brakes. You see a bright white flash right there behind him. Omri will get it going the right way. Good works. Tomer, he's gonna make a pass on Birdie. Oh, nice looks there. Gave each other the room. That's what you love to see. Hard racing, but clean racing. Point buys are always appreciated as well. So our replay is brought to you by Stam Studio Network. See IiL, aka Esports and Karting, up in the top right. Appreciate them for coming on board. IiL, can't thank them, the league, all the racers, and Tal Stern, the owner. He's able to keep it going, brings me on board to have these races broadcasted. So thanks. Thank you so much for that. Does not go unnoticed. Got Ido, and then look at Gilead Mark. Ooh, thought Mark was going to try and make that inside stick. He's really close. Really close to Gilead, right in front of him. Looks like he might have the pace to pass him. Next straightaway, get some slipstream. Look at how he's able to set up that next corner. Gilead maybe playing a bit more defense than offense. Look at these drivers. Oh, it is right as I started to mention it. I thought Mark was going to loop it. Another look at Chopper up here. Take a look at that color disparity within these turns. You see a little bit of a puddle at that apex, but I mean, these different lines are definitely starting to come in just a little bit. Another Tomer here. This one's Tomer Ventura, driver the 13. Probably one of my favorite paints today. Oh, I thought that was the shiny blue one. Man, Tomer, we got to get you a spec map on that one and be shouting you out. I'm just kidding. That looks good, man. Running respectable P9. That's 7 spots since the start of the race. Speaking of the start, I'd like to take another look at it. So we see that 4.5. Don't think we quite had 6 wide. Here you see that 4 or 5 wide present itself. On board with Tomer right now, that 13. See Omri right there in front of him. Way cleaner start than the silver race. As these drivers continue. We're going to have our incident here in just a few turns. I believe it's coming up after the spoon here. Maybe a right-hander, and then car gets a little bit sideways of the double right-hander. Look at Omri really slow down the car, make sure that he's going to get through this wreck clean. Really nice work. Ido and Mark still battling quite a bit. Gilead right in front. Let's hop on board with Mark and give you a really good look at what he has to deal with spray-wise as it continues to dissipate even more. Up on board with Ido right in front of him. Get a nice look at Gilead Nagili right in front of him. But Alon here up front. He's actually come across our side of the sea, raced some NASCAR. I believe he's NASCAR Euro champion more than one time. It's really cool to see him jumping some, excuse me, some open wheel racing and just really put it on these guys. We know how fast Ran is, and Ran is able to keep within a 1.5 second gap, which I think just goes to show the pace of Alon even more. Rand has been quite, I mean, I would use the word unstoppable, but just has been caught up in some unfortunate circumstances before. But for him to keep within this 1.5 second gap of Alon here, this is really, really impressive. Speak of impressive, they've put 13, 14 second gap on Yossi there back in P3. If you happen to be doing a marathon with us and we're watching the whole silver race and now happen to be joining us for the gold, I mentioned the gaps in that silver race. Sure, there wasn't as many cars as there are in gold, but we saw, I mean, near 20, 30 second, 40 second gaps. Halfway in this race, we are now, I mean, only 3, 4, maybe some 5 second gaps here and there. Not even 5. So that goes to show the skill level of this gold series, showing Alan Day, our leader, at 6K I rating. Ran there almost 4K, and then Yossi P3 at almost 3K. So if you wanna run with the big boys, you gotta make sure that you have not only the pace to do it, but oh, look at these cars running offline, getting some more moisture in their wet tires. That was something to watch, as I mentioned earlier. Gonna try and keep them just a little bit more cool than the drivers that are just strictly running in this drier line that's starting to form. I really expect this second heat that we will have drivers on all different, well, I say all different kinds, the 2 different kinds of compounds that are available. Gilead hitting a big puddle. We saw a big splash out from the back of his car. Glad he didn't lose it. Because when that diffuser strikes surface water, or surface track, the car gets extremely tight, and that's now going to present Ido going to possibly get the spot. Look at Mark right there fighting with these drivers. Oh, he tried to force the outside. Let's jump on board with Mark. Driver's going to go side by side into the left-hander in front. Ooh, Gilead going to just give way a bit to Ido. Mark's going to stick it on that outside. Not too much momentum down here to the back, but going to get right back in the slipstream. Moisture levels continuing to dropping on the track, as we've seen now even less spray coming up off of the car in front of him. Gilead gonna look in the inside. Mark, huge save on the outside. That may warrant quite possibly a slowdown penalty for Mark, as these drivers continue to battle hard in front of him. Gilead, Ido really going at it. Fortunately, have to go away from this battle as now Ran closing the gap on Alon. Just over 5 minutes to go in Heat 1. We see Alon now really pushing his Super Formula Light. Gap now down to 0.7.5. Could this be the day that Ran passes Alon Day on track? That would be, we'd be in for a treat. But looks like he is continuing to keep the gap just a little bit more steady now, showing 0.8. Great aerial cam footage brought to you by Stam Studio Network. Back on board now with Ran. He may be just within that range of the slipstream. Gonna open up turn 17, 18 just a little bit more. Try and get a bit better of a run off. Looks like he did for a second. Now gap down to 7.6 again. Oh boy, we are in for a treat. Take a look at the lap time history between our front leaders. Ran closed it down. Now back down to 7.7 seconds. Excuse me. Meant to say that earlier as well. 0.8 now 0.9. Really pushing his car through the S's here. As the crowd starts to get on their feet, as they know just what's at stake between these two front drivers. Ran right there with Alon, right there in his mirror, not leaving just yet. These drivers have all the room to mess with each other because they have a 20-second gap on Yossi, and then Yossi with a 3-second gap on Yehuda and IiL behind him. They're going at it. Might as well jump over there real quick. See that gap just under half a second, maybe 1 car length. Another close race going on is back here. Omri, respectable 13th, fighting for Arnon, trying to get past him for that 13th spot. Arnon Levi, the 39. Arnon gonna try and maybe make a move towards his inside, coming up in this right-hander. He's gonna be there. Omri's gonna stick it to the outside though. What a defensive move by Omri. Not really anything too aggressive I saw, just made it actually stick on the outside. Omri's gonna lock up. That's gonna present Arnon take the spot. Not just quite yet. Omri back to the inside. Arnon with a little bit more momentum now. He will be the inside of this left-hander. Omri's going to look like just going to give it to him there, back out of it. Didn't want to take them both out. As Alon still trying to hold off Rand back behind him. Little less than 2 minutes to go in the race. Up on board with Rand as he continues to cut this gap for Alon Day, as now he is there. A car length, maybe 2. Right there in Alon's mirror. Holy cow. This is going to be coming down the back straightaway. Rand is there. These guys are buddies in real life. What does that present? As Alon's gonna, little bit loose, gonna make his car stick. That extra downforce really helping out Alon through turn there. So now they're back down the back straightaway. These two leaders. Rand. Rand was trying to make Alon look in his mirrors. Made me look in my own, so to speak, mirrors. Is now Rand hounding Alon for the position. 30 seconds to go. That will warrant 1 more lap here in Suzuka, Japan. What do these drivers have? What does Rand have? Is Rand going to go for it? Turn 1. He does have what it takes. He's going to be down the inside. Alon there, that outside, maybe a little bit more wet. Rand to the lead here at Suzuka. Holy smokes. Rand fighting that Super Formula Light just for everything it has. Alon Day right there behind him. Can't believe he got past. $2,000 I rating separating these two drivers. Does Rand have what it takes? Is Rand going to be the underdog winner of Heat 1? Alon Day, no lockup into, I'll call it lockup corner, as we've seen countless drivers from silver and gold lock up. Didn't get the exit he wanted, as now Rand is going to stretch that gap. Now Rand almost up a whole second on Alon Day. Coming up to the last few turns of the track. No real slipstream opportunity for Alon, just a little bit too far back. No DRS opportunities either in these Super Formula Lights. Have we seen Rand do it? Gonna come turn 17, round 18. Holy smokes, folks, we're gonna see Rand do it. Past Alon Day, the last lap. Congratulations, Rand. That's Heat 1 of Suzuka. Goes to Rand. Alon's gonna finish P2. Yossi right there behind P3. Stick around. We're gonna have Heat 2 coming up. Top 10 inverted. Ayeli have to drive himself up to P4. 79. We jumped on board with a little bit earlier. Looks like he gained a spot since the start of his race. Yehuda right there behind, finishing 5th. Mark Zubarev, and then Michael Scherling going to finish 6th, 7th. Had some really good battles. Especially Mark really putting his car where the others weren't. Tomir Ventura going to finish 8th. Gilead right there behind, going to finish 9th. See him drive towards the pit exit line here. Stop right about on cue. Birdie 420, going to finish 10th. See him come across now and then. Again, look at this. Look at how small these gaps are. Idan, Nadav, Anand, Omri for 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th. Right there behind. That's only a few seconds separated within 20 minutes of racing on still quite a damp track. Take a look at the hopefully not. Yeah. Oh, well. You'll have to rewind and pause your screen right there, as now we have already hit the next grid for our Heat 2. Almost done today. Make sure you got just about over a minute. Grab yourself a drink or maybe some popcorn, some snacks. As these drivers get ready to grid for race 2. Continue to battle for some more playoff points. Again, that top 10 is going to be inverted. Pull up the race info for you guys. See if there's any difference this session. Still 19 degrees Celsius, 14 degree track temp. Humidity levels have dropped. Wind has picked up 22 kilometers an hour now. So, track way more dry than what it was. And I'm glad that I was able to check this out, guys. I'll walk you through it here. Birdie Galili, our guy on pole, is going to be on wet tires. I'll talk you through it in just a bit, as now somebody's gone early. Oh, and we're going to have a huge incident already. Huge hit. That looks like Michael Scherling, who went just about airborne. We'll bring you back to the front of the pack. Birdie's on wet. Gilead right there behind on dries is already battling for the spot. Going to have to be very careful on his tires. Mark Zubarev right there behind our 2 leaders. Gilead out to the lead in his dry tires. 3 drivers behind him on wets. Mark, Birdie, and IiL. Oh man, this has been just, if not more of a dangerous start than our last race, with drivers maybe gambling on tire compounds. Yehuda right here already up to 6th. Now make that 4th, as now we have a spin right in front of Omri again. That's Birdie. Birdie's gone around. Huge wreck. Huge wreck. That's a 13. Tomer involved again. We're gonna have so much to go through. We'll keep you on IDO for here just a second. Is now 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, all out of this race already, taking their fast repairs. Take a look at the green flag, brought to you by Stam Studio Network. Looks like a driver starting in the pits. Maybe not so bad of an idea, the start that we just saw. Yeah, look at carnage back here. We'll have to rewind that one more time. So, the very bright, vibrant green 17 went way early. That was Yossi. And then Yossi goes around, collects Michael Scherling. I mean, Tomir Ventura. So many names mentioned early on that's, I mean, just crashed nowhere that they could go, not even a fault of their own. Take one more look here. There goes Yossi. Take a look at Michael. Gets contact with Yossi, goes around, and then this is, I believe, when Michael gets airborne when... Oh, that wasn't even Michael. That was another... Oh, is that Alan Day? It was! That's Alan Day out way early in the race. Huge damage for him. Oh, man. Okay. So then Nadav, you're on as we go just a few corners in front. Yeah, you see the 13 gets involved. Tomir We'll back this up. Hate to rewind this live, but gonna have to do it as it's not in our SDK app here. Oh, just gets drove into by the 420 of Birdie Galili. Hard impact for the both of those drivers. Hope they're both okay. Let's go back live now. Finally, the battle for second heating up quite a bit. I'm sorry, battle for third. You see Mark and then Yehuda right there behind that nice blue and white 10 Super Formula Light. Apologies for keeping us in replay so long. It's that just there was so much to go over, so much. I mean, there's still 2 spins that I've missed, but this battle for second is continuing to heat up now as Yehuda almost made that move on Mark on the inside. Now down into turn 17, the double apex. Gonna get back down to the start-finish straight. Again, first place, dry. Second, third, wet. Third through fifth, dry tires. And then 6th and 7th are on wets. Great view from Yehuda as he just sitting back, waiting for Mark and IiL to continue to go at it. So close to that gearbox. Holy smokes. That's asking for your front wing to get some damage to it there. That was, again, super tight battling between Mark, Yehuda, and Arnon here really early in this second heat. Yehuda gonna make that move. Pass for P3. IiL right in front of Yehuda there. And then Arnon right back here battling it out with these guys for 5th. Way cleaner start than what he's had. Almost looks to the inside. Mark's gonna throw a little bit of defensive block into the turn there. IDan back here battling hard with Dror last. That's P9. Got Omri there, right there in front of them. Nice aerial shot from these 4 cars. Go back up the hill. Omri leading this group of 4. Vidan, Dror, and Nadav. Tomer and Birdie. Yossi there behind them. Ooh, contact. Idan's going to get the worst of it. Looks like front of his side pod's going to get a little bit damaged. Is that on Idan? Slow it down for you here. Idan running second in this pack. Super easy to lock up, going up elevation and going to be a far right. No, that was the yellow. Is that Nadav Yeren, the 22? Gonna barely squeak by. Dror last. Really kind of I'll put that on him. I'm not sure if locked up or just got a little bit too deep in the corner. Probably did lock up if he got too deep. As now our battle for third. Continuing to stay hot. IiL and Arnon going at it. Oh, contact between the 2 drivers. Hopefully not too much damage on Arnon's front wing. Doesn't look too bad at all. Gotta stay in it here, not pit. Almost halfway is now Mark and Ido right behind, battling for that top 5 spot. Mark being really aggressive. Oh, thought that thing was gonna come around on him. Just sticking the gas, that downforce gonna help him out. Ido's gonna look towards the inside, he's there. Ido gonna make that move, and then look at Rand behind. See any damage on Rand's vehicle. Very white Super Formula Light. Not seeing Not seeing too much. Looks like he still has his front wing, his rear wing. Side pods are there. Not sure what's going on, why he's so far off the pace. Take a look at a IiL. Lock up corner right here. Oh, just so deep. Honestly surprised didn't see a lock up. He just stayed with it, let the car roll. Gonna take the slow down now. Oh, actually gonna pit. Tough break for a IiL, the driver in the 79. As I mentioned, tough brakes at Diane. Nobody really next to him. Let's see what happens. Oh, just gonna take it into the alternate pits, we'll call that. Not sure. Okay, so he did find the pit entry. Idan's going to end up pitting. So, that takes us now to Mark again. Jump on board. Mark and Rand going at this for P5. See Rand, huge lockup on the right side of your screen out of his left front. Rand's last lap a 156.5, and then our leader's putting down a 155.3. So he's still has the pace in the car. Not sure why he's just, I mean, methodically working his way up. Nothing wrong with it. But we've seen Rand kind of show his pace earlier on. Is now almost just a halfway. Slipstream, nice run for Rand. Gonna make it work. Check out just how much more dry the track is gone. Is now Mark made that move on Rand. If you're able to make a move like that on Rand, Mark, that is saying something about you, your racecraft, and I mean the commitment that you have in the car. Now Rand's going to try to make that move back to the inside of turn 1. Keep an eye on this, folks. This might get a little bit hairy. Almost touches cut tires. Great racing between these two drivers, leaving just enough room. Rand's going to solidify that P5 spot. Omri's going to... Looks like Omri just entered the pits after went off track. We can take a look, see what happens. Maybe he sustained some damage. Pushes wide through that. Excuse me, 17. Then just comes to the pits. These drivers could be dealing with their tires. I'm willing to bet that's what's going on. Is now pretty much the whole league has now switched to dry tires, except for, get this, Rand, Mark, and Nadav, our closest battles on track. What strategy calls going on is now Gilead up to 7 second gap. And again, he is on those dry tires. So it looks like dry was the way to go. Maybe a little bit more hard to handle, but definitely way faster on pace. Look at this car take those bumps really well too. I don't think you can do that in the wet. Take you down our leaderboard, brought to you by IiL, aka Esports and Karting. Running second, Yehuda Ben Yosef, driving that number 10. Shiny blue, bright white. Yehuda ran. Yehuda Arnon Ido ran. And then Mark there in 6th. Really put that close battle on Rand. But unfortunately, Rand just too much pace for him. Had to let him go. Nadav there 7th. IiL 8th. Drawer last here in 9th. And Omri Back here in 10th, the driver of the 997. Hi, Dan. Back here in 8th. I believe he's, not 8th, 11th place, excuse me. Believe he started there in 11th as well. So, no gain, no loss from the start of this heat. And then Tomir Ventura lost 9 spots since the start of this heat. And not really any moisture being thrown up behind these cars at all anymore. You saw a little bit mid-apex there. That is why I believe we've seen just about every single driver switch from the wets to the dries, except for oh wow, Rand is still in the wets, but he's so far in it now he just has to make it work. Wouldn't be surprised if we see him searching for a bit more moisture on the track. Now runs all the way just about the racing line. Thought we'd see him just dip a bit more towards that pit wall, but doesn't seem to be affecting him too much. Rand knows a lot about these cars and how they handle, especially wet and dry. You hate to see Alon Day out so early. Michael Scherling, Tomer Ventura, all out really, really fast on this race. Well, we have a second. Well, we might not have a second for long. This battle for second is heating up really quite a bit between Yehuda and Arnon. On board with Arnon here, getting a bit of a slipstream. Gonna, I would say force it, but just gonna look down the right, gonna be there. Driver side pod by side pod into this double left apex. Bit more grip now on the track too, as now Arnon's going to get a nice run off of that corner, solidify P2. You say solidify is now Ido's right now in this fight. Wheel to wheel, could be looking 3 wheels or 3 sets of wheels going side by side for a second. Is Arnon now going to get a much better exit again, not trying to battle side by side with Yehuda. Ido's really ran these guys down. Looks like quite possibly going to make a move into turn 1. Here it comes. Ooh, these lock. Thought that was a lockup, but now just more moisture on the inside of the track. 4 minutes to go in the race. Can't say enough about Gilead up here, driver number 4. Thank you for uploading your driver profile picture. See you holding some trophies there. Looks like you might have to make some room at the end of this heat. If you keep it up, just over 9-second gap from Arnon. Battle continuing to heat up for P3. Ido doing just about everything he can to get to Yehuda's bumper. Doesn't quite look like he has enough pace, though. Right as I say that, going to be right there in the slipstream. Going to look towards the inside of Ido. Excuse me, not of Ido, of Yehuda. Ido on the outside here, gonna make that pass again. Call that Ido to P4. Excuse me again, that was, keep getting their cars mixed up. Yehuda. So Ido P4, now Yehuda making that pass work, actually now up to P3. And then Mark Zubarev right there behind Ran, who's in 5th, making Mark 6th. Not quite close enough for Ido to make a lunge into turn 1 as he tried late and then just going to loop himself around. Gotta get his car started going quick before Rand ends up catching him. No contact between those cars, but definitely Ido trying to... He didn't force it on entry, but it's almost like he made a late lunge, like here. And then that's not going to allow the car to stick at all. I guess there's that second apex he was going for. And then you see the rear of the car just come loop itself around. So Yehuda P3, after all of that. Ido back to fourth. Then remember, 5th and 6th are still on wet weather tires. However, that gap between Ran and Mark, about, let's see here, about 6 seconds. Those are our last drivers on wet weather tires, other than, Nadav back here and in 8th place, making his wet weather tires work. They come down just the last minute of this race, probably searching every bit for track moisture. Get a little bit more grip in these wet weather tires as they fall off quick on a dry track. Missing all of this, but how about Gilead? Driver that number 4, McLaren paint scheme, Super Formula Light. Track continues to dry out. Gonna come take the checkered flag next time by. Ooh. As he does that, we'll take a look at Mark. Looks like Mark had a little bit of an incident in the 17. We've seen that countless times. And a bit of a slowdown that's going to allow IiL to pass him. Can't say enough about it. He started 2nd place. Just had that really nice start of the race. Got himself to 1st, avoiding all the carnage, and, well, has the pace to drive away with it. 7.8 second gap on Arnon. Gilead did not finish in our top 3 of either heat 2 weeks ago at Misano. So, great run for him in the points. He needed this. Comes down the back straightaway at Suzuka. A few lapped cars in front of him. You see a little bit further on the distance. $17 around that left turn 18. That will solidify it. Gilead's gonna take heat 2 here in Suzuka, Japan. Congratulations, that's P1. For the driver of the number 4. Oh, show him what's up. There you go. I wouldn't even blame you if you did a little donut. That's impressive work to put on all of these Gold Series drivers. 1.9K I rating. Congratulations, man. You've done it. Arnon back there going to finish P2. Yehuda will take P3. Around the last few turns now is Ran coming across the line. IiL right behind him in 6th place. Missed Ido there in 4th place. Apologies for that. Mark Zubarev coming in 7th after really tough battles all throughout our Heat 1 and Heat 2 Gold Series races. Nadav going to bring it home, P8. Omri back there, the 997, respectable P9. You see Dror right there behind him, going to finish P10, up 4 spots from the start of his race. Idan will finish P11. Come across the line now. Driver that 8, bright Super Formula Light. Yossi, oh man, had that starting penalty. We saw him have the pace in Heat 1, but after that, can't come back after a 36-second hold penalty. But did make himself to P12. That's pretty surprising. Good rebound for you, Yossi. Birdie, these are, all of our drivers that got involved in that lap 1 incident, you really feel bad for, but Sucks because, they really had pace too. See Birdie bring it to a standing still stop. Tomir Ventura will end up 14th. Michael Scherling will end up 15th. And then that last lap, that first lap incident, really took out a lot of these drivers, including these ones that finished 13, 14, 15, and last but of course not least, 16th, Alon Day. Congratulations on that first race that you did really well in at P2, but unfortunate start for you there. Appreciate everybody for joining us today at Suzuka, Japan. Bringing up practice results. I'll have to bring up the race results for you now. There you go. There's your race standings. Again, congratulations to the driver in number 4. That was really fun to watch that heat too. You kind of just able to drive away with it. Saw some really clean racing. Saw some point buys. Saw some gaps left in between drivers that were battling for position. Gaps meaning horizontally, not car width, or car width gaps, excuse me. So cool to see IiL put together really clean racing once again. The starts are so hectic that qualifying, really, that's what it just comes down to, it seems. So be sure to join us not next week, but week after next week. We'll have some more IiL aka esports, motorsports, and karting Super Formula Light racing coming at you live from Stam Studio Network. Be sure to join me this upcoming weekends. We have some oval racing, some Gen 6 at Michigan. That's the Penny Pleasers Cup, so be sure to show out there, show some love in the YouTube chat. We see you in the YouTube chat today rooting on your drivers. Congratulations again to our winners today. Be sure to join us next time. This has been Sean Stam, Stam Studio Network. Thank you so much, and have a great, great rest of your week.